Owning a luxury watch may not be as nice as you think. Today I'm going to be explaining the downsides to owning a luxury watch, so let's jump into it. Well, first off, we have to talk about the obvious thing, which is theft. The problem with owning a luxury watch is that not everyone can own them, so some people will try and steal them off you to own them themselves, or to try and sell them on for money. Now, the problem with that is that, one, you're in fear of people trying to steal your watch, but also the fact that you then have to pay more for insurance. That is one of the hidden costs of owning a luxury watch, is the insurance to keep it safe. You'll have to be paying more house insurance if you're having the watch stay at your house, or you'll have to take out a safety deposit box and pay that money at the bank. Now, the other thing is that the more expensive the watch, the more the insurance will go up, and the larger the collection, obviously the more insurance. Bit of a hidden cost that people don't really think about, and definitely want to consider before pulling the trigger on an expensive watch. Here's a slightly odd downside to owning a luxury watch, one that I wouldn't really first consider, which is the amount of people that think your watch will be fake. Now, it's not a real downside, but it is a bit of an annoying thing to deal with, because if someone asks you, is that real, and it is real, you feel almost a bit worried to say yes, because they might try and steal it. But then again, if you're being constantly asked if it's real and people can't tell it's real, then what's the point in having the real thing, right? Why didn't you just buy a fake and save yourself thousands of pounds? It's kind of annoying, and it's one of those that you almost don't get credited for having the real thing, because people either don't believe that it's real, or if it is real, then you're in fear of someone trying to steal it. It's sort of a catch-22, and one there's no real winning. So yeah, a bit of a weird one, that. Now, this one's quite obvious, and it goes for any watch, not just luxury watches, but it's something that people don't really fully consider before buying their watch, and that is the servicing cost. How much is it going to cost for you to own this watch for the next 10, 20 years? It's going to need servicing about every 5 years, and if it's an expensive watch and it needs bezel replacements or any other further modifications that aren't stock in a service package, it's going to set you back a lot of money. For instance, my Longines Conquest has just been sent off for service, and this is not an expensive watch. It retails for about £720. So it is expensive, sorry, but it's not high end. It's not stupid expensive. But the dial replacement on that is going to be about £85, about that. That's not terrible, but that's another hidden cost that I was not fully prepared to pay. I didn't know that it was going to cost that much. So if you take in consideration something like an extremely pimped out Rolex, the one that is stock factory but is very high end, a bezel replacement or a dial replacement on that could set you back easily thousands of pounds. So you may think it's a bit counterintuitive, me, a watch channel, giving you reasons to not buy a luxury watch, but I don't sell watches, so it doesn't really matter to me if you do or don't buy one. I'm just here to try and give you the best information and to give you a heads up on what you should be prepared for if you do buy a luxury watch. But for the people like myself that already own a luxury watch, what can we do to try and protect ourselves from theft? Well, there's quite a few little things you can do. Now, I wouldn't advise trying to do little techniques like getting fishing line and putting it around your bracelet, tying it further up your arm, so that if someone tried to steal it, you'd be able to feel it and it would hold a bit of resistance. Because a lot of the ways people steal their watches is by pressing their hand around your watch, feeling that tension, so you don't feel your watch on your wrist anymore. So when they undo the clasp and take it off, you don't even notice. So the fishing line would work for that, because then you would know they're trying to steal it, because even if they undid the clasp, you could feel the resistance on your upper arm. But the problem with that is that they could just snap the line, or ones if they just cut it, or if they just didn't care about your fishing line and just threatened you with a knife and made you take it off. It doesn't really matter. The simple and the most effective way to try and not get robbed is to not wear it out. I know that's not what you want to hear, because as a watch enthusiast myself, I want to wear my watches, but there's certain places where you're just more prone to getting robbed. I mean, the city centres in London are very, very well known for people getting robbed by people on mopeds. They'll just drive by up the pavement and try and steal your watch. I mean, there's been countless YouTubers. I mean, Bark and Jack, for example, was literally chased down to someone trying to steal his Rolex. It's just not worth it. If you want to wear your watch about, don't do it in stupid obvious public places. I mean, it's kind of hard to try and enjoy a watch when you're so scared of having it robbed anyway, but you have to be sensible about these things and try and wear it in places where you feel a bit more safe and secure. I'm not saying don't wear it, but just try and weigh up the risk. Is it really worth it for you to wear your watch in the public streets of London? Who's going to care anyway? You're just putting yourself at risk. I know today's video has been a bit different. I've got a different lighting setup and a plant in the background. But I've really tried to make sure this video was short and informative, one that I could refresh your memory on a few things or even introduce you to a few concepts. I hope you appreciate that, and I want to see you in future videos, so subscribe down below if you haven't already. That's this video. Goodbye.